Hey everyone, welcome to episode 10 of Tuesdays with Thadd, where I give a recap of my weekend in wrestling. Starting off with this week's standard of greatness, which I'm not sure who it is because Ash didn't seem to want it, and he just left. So the standout is Nathan Fire, which also declined. Although I understand why Nathan left because, like he said, if Ash didn't want it, then why should I? But I'm not quite sure why Ash didn't accept. Going on to my match of the weekend, and I say of the weekend because there was no Sunday kids class. And the reason why is because of luck of the draw. But we'll get to that more later on in this video. Here we've got Hot Cheeto versus me. Right here, more towards the beginning of the match, I gave him a DDT. I point this out because it's at the beginning. I should have waited later on in the match to use it as a finish instead of going early on in the match. Right here, I'm attacking him in the corner and I have him in control. But I made the mistake of going back and then charging back at him because I gave him an opportunity to move out of the way, giving him the lead. And while I was getting out, I made another mistake of crawling on the ropes because then, as I was going over, he wound up kicking me down into the ropes and then choking me. Here, I want to point out the strength that it took to be able to toss me around like that, and so many times. That was just really impressive, and I needed to do this because I just couldn't let that go unnoticed. And here, I finally get to a point where I can hit him with my finisher. And boy, it was not easy to get to that point. For me, it's just really difficult to win against someone like this. Now on to luck of the draw, where Killer Cross appeared. Although his match is not until later on, so we're going to be going with Golden Shower versus Young Money. This was just a great match. It was really hard to tell who was going to win because both of the teams worked very well with their partner. Anytime one of them had an advantage, they were just doing moves like they were reading each other's minds. After that, Chris Bay came out to hype up the crowd, going from one side to have them cheer to the next and so on, making sure everyone was involved and also making sure that everyone was having a great time. Now going on to the match that now everyone was hyped up for, a 30-person rumble for a shot at the heavyweight championship. Spotlight and Bodie Young Prodigy were the starting opponents in that match. Bodie almost got eliminated at the beginning of the match, or so it seemed. He was just getting up and ready to attack, and he was just getting started because he stayed in the match for a very long time and outlasted many of his opponents. Then came out Ricky Tenacious, also known as Songbird. He sang his funny and off-pitch tunes for everyone to hear, and started singing about the people in the Rumble, saying that they suck. Next came out my trainer, Brandon G, with his Book of Greatness. Came in with that as a weapon and attacking everybody in there with it. And it's a no DQ match, so you might as well. Although trying to attack Spotlight, Ricky Tenacious gets a great hit from his book. And came out another one of my trainers, Mondo Avion, and his brother, Robbie Avion. When they got in, their target was Kenny King. And Kenny King held on pretty dang well, being able to fend off two people trying to toss you out of the ring. That's just really impressive. Something that happened that I think was really interesting is when Jordan Oasis got eliminated, he tried getting back in, going and pushing through multiple officials. Hammerstone is the one that got his shot at the heavyweight championship title. And if he wins this one against G Sharp, that would make him a 4-time heavyweight champion of FSW. Next up, we have the Unguided versus Pretty City Express. Before the match started, it seemed like the Unguided were the bad guys and Pretty City Express were the good guys. But during the match, you could find that it was actually the opposite. Both teams, again, worked very well with their partner. Since Pretty City had the advantage, the moment the Unguided found an opportunity to attack, they took it. And they did not hold back. The moment they gained the upper hand, they tagged in each other and went back and forth on moves like they were reading each other's minds. And I guess that's mainly because all of these guys are very experienced and know exactly how to work together as a team. This next match is the Mariachis versus the Suavecitos versus the Transcendents, with MK on their side. The entire match, the crowd was cheering for either the Mariachis or the Suavecitos. And I also noticed that the Transcendents were off to the side and out of the ring for most of the match, mainly because they got tossed out. The Mariachis have a very big size advantage. Although the Suavecitos may not be as big as them, they definitely are more nimble, which to me made that a pretty tough matchup. Now we have Danny Limelight, a former champion, versus Killer Cross. Once the match started, Danny Limelight just got out of the ring, because I think once he got in, he realized what he was going up against. And that wasn't the only time he got out of the ring. He got out 3 times. On the third one, he just quit the match by just leaving. Although, before he could leave, Chris Bay came out and confronted him, because at that point, leaving was not an option. Especially since the audience was waiting for that match for quite a while. So, he restarted the match and made sure that it was a no DQ match this time, meaning he couldn't just walk out and quit. Danny tried his best to make sure that didn't happen, but at that point, there was absolutely no chance that it wasn't. Without Danny realizing it, Cross came up and attacked him. However, I think the way he attacked him would have been the most painful ways you can in that moment. Because he grabbed him and then lined up and suplexed him onto the metal ramp. This next one is Brittany Brooks versus Maserati. And the entire crowd was chanting Maserati. And it seemed like Brittany Brooks just got really tired of that really quickly and slapped Maserati in the face. Then Maserati got her back. And I think the interaction between these two was very entertaining to watch. And when Maserati gained the upper hand, she performed the moves very smoothly. She was able to get her moves in and then already be set up for the pin. Although, since it's more early on in the match, Brittany Brooks did kick out. This main event was Hammerstone versus G Sharp for the heavyweight championship of FSW. Currently, Hammerstone is a 3-time heavyweight champion, and if he wins this one, that'll be his 4th. Although, the matchup between the two seems like Hammerstone would have a much better advantage due to his size. But G Sharp is much quicker than Hammerstone is, so I think that may be able to wear him down quite a bit. As the match progressed, G Sharp did wear him down, And after that, it just seemed like it was a pretty even matchup. So it was really hard to tell who was going to win. That's the end of Luck of the Draw. After Luck of the Draw, I went up to Ice, and then once he came up, he acknowledged the fact that I called him out before. He got up all in my face about it, and I didn't do anything about it. So that showed me that I need to be better prepared for when something like that happens. Next time, I'm going to make sure I'm better prepared when something like that happens, especially when I come across you again, Ice. Monday. Killer Cross gave a seminar and taught us a lot on Monday. Like what would help us in the best way possible and how to work against your opponent. He also taught us a lot about building our character and making sure we had all the fundamentals down before we try anything advanced. So I thank you so much, Karrion Cross, for teaching us so much and with your own experiences so we have real world knowledge about what you're teaching us, making sure that we understand. Thank you all for joining me on this Tuesdays with Thadd. Don't forget to grab your own Thaddeus Cole Raw Determination t-shirts and United We Stand Divided You Fall t-shirts. Just go to www.prowrestlingtees.com/dcoletees and grab your shirt today. And remember, with your support, we will not be divided.